Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews. And before we get into the review that is Black Clover, bit of information for you guys. Black Clover, from an official release standpoint, comes out on a Monday. Because we tend to have a delay with the release on Scanalations, I am going to be looking to do the review either on a Monday or on a Tuesday. So what should happen is, depending on when Seven Deadly Sins and Fairy Tail drops. If it drops on a Monday, they will be reviewed on a Monday, and on Tuesday is more than likely when I'm going to be doing Black Clover. If these drop on the Sunday, so Seven Deadly Sins, Fairy Tail drop on the Sunday, I will likely then do Black Clover on the Monday, just to adhere to my release schedule. So Sunday or Monday is going to be them. Thursday or Friday, depending on the release, is going to be One Piece and Bleach, and then the following day is going to be World Trigger, and so on and so forth, the rest of what I do. So without further ado, let's get into this review. So point number one, and it's not really a major component of the chapter, but it was a cute point that I thought I'd mention. So really what it is, it's Noella's with Rebecca in their house, and Noella's kind of like eating the food that Rebecca's made, and she's like, this is delicious, and she's thinking in the back of her mind that, I think men like somebody who can cook, and she's like, Rebecca would be more suited for Asta's kind of taste, to be his other half, his girlfriend, his partner, whatever have you. And then on the other side, you have Rebecca thinking Noella's really pretty. That's basically what he's after, and she thinks that might be his girlfriend, because he did mention that he's in love with somebody, but he was talking about the sister in the orphanage, not necessarily Noella. We carry on a little bit, and Rebecca's basically kind of worried about Asta, whereas Noella believes in him. I think that's the benefit of actually spending time with him and seeing what he can do, going on missions and so on and so forth. We also get to see the crow finally. The bird is back, and he's actually just sat on the windowsill, looking out the window, probably waiting for Asta to come back, and he kind of looks back at the camera, so to speak, or, in terms of the image, kind of looking all proud, and no worries. But yeah, that's point number one. Point number two, two parts to it. The first part is pretty much confirmation. Lich is down. Yami's basically like, we've exceeded our limits, and you can tell Yami and Asta are basically two peas in a pod. They're exactly the same. They work so well together. I guess that chemistry, the way their banter is amazing. They work so well. I mean, every single chapter I've seen them together, I've just loved their chemistry. I love their banter. It's kind of like they're related practically, but they're not, as far as we know. But anyway, That was funny as always. We get the captain's reaction, saying that they've been outdone, outsmarted, and kind of shown up a little bit by this young upstart, which was kind of cool. Naturally, the people of Third Eye are distracted, and obviously you can't do that in a fight against captains, basically. The second part is interesting because, as always, Licht goes on a rant, and what he talks about again is Asta. He's really unhappy that Asta has the grimoire and those swords. So he goes, they don't belong to you, basically, and he actually names them. This is the first time we've actually had the names of the sword. So the thinner sword that he got second, like his second sword, is called the Demon Dweller. So I guess that's to do with kind of sucking up demon ability, I guess, and using that in the thin sword. And the Demon Slayer is the thicker sword, and of course he says that they belong to his master, which is an interesting point, because we don't know who the actual master. Now that we know Licht isn't the master, we think he's more of a substitute leader, I think, for the time being. But that's an interesting point to bear in mind, which sets up point number three. Licht goes on a rampage. So point number three, Licht going on a rampage. Basically, when the people that are in the Third Eye state that the anti-magic guy, which is Asta, has got to him and has undone his seal, basically Licht flips out, goes on a rampage, and releases a really big orb, similar to how he released originally, but on a grander scale, to the point where Finral, Gouge, even the captains thought, we cannot defend against this. Funnily enough, Asta and Yami step up, not really caring about the situation and wanting to surpass the limits even further, which was kind of funny because they're kind of really bad influences and good influences for each other. They kind of bounce off each other so well, and they, like I said, they're two peas in a pod. So it's interesting that happens, and it's interesting that his power is above and beyond a captain level for captain say we can't even touch that. So it's good that they've got to experience this now 53 chapters into the story, although they probably have had experience before, because this shows that there's another level to magic that they can get to. Now this sets up point number 4. So point number 4 is interesting because this is where we get to see a little bit more about the third eye. So the third eye stating that it's basically too early for this power to be revealed. It's needed for something later on, like a ceremony, I'm guessing. They do a technique that basically reseals that energy, saying you've overworked yourself, let's get out of here. And the bolt, basically, they take all the bodies, whoever's left, Scarface, Licked, they're on the way. This is interesting because to seal that type of ability took 3 people. It took 3 people that are meant to be stronger than he is, which basically says Licked is the equivalence of Gaara as a Jinchuriki. He's got something inside him that's compressed and suppressed. He was already crazily powerful enough to begin with, so you can only imagine how powerful this guy is. And that's point number 4. And that's pretty much how the chapter ends. It ends with the whole idea of, yeah, you know, have we won? Yes, we won because they've ran away, but this isn't the end. This is just the beginning. So an interrupted fight will lead to a returning fight somewhere later on down the line. They've got to have a taste of the power of this ability. We've got to see, in a way, Asta power up and learn something new, which you can only really supplement and increase the abilities of his attacks. Because he's a sword fighter, he really needs to work on his sword combat skills. He's a physically strong person. He needs to get stronger. He needs to get more competent with his swords to really make the most out of those techniques that he's got and the swords and weapons that he's got. But this leads to point number 5, which is about speculation. Point number 5, speculation. So it's interesting, we found out quite a bit of information. We've got to find out about the names of these swords and potential previous owner of these swords. So what this leads me to believe happens, kind of like how we've got the thought process with devil fruits in One Piece. It's going to be a similar concept with grimoires. And basically, once the original person dies or is not in this plane, he effectively gives up his ability or his grimoire and someone else takes it, which is why there's that conflict, because they know the previous owner of those grimoires and those swords. So I can imagine it'll be quite interesting to find out if that person ever does return. Did he die? Did that person seal up? And because this is supposedly the leader of the Midnight Eye, it leads me to believe and theorize a few things. Number 1, is this person the original Sorcerer's King? Bearing in mind that the Sorcerer's King was legendary in the sense that he was able to defeat a demon, that's why he was given that title. Demon Slayer Sword, demon, you can see how that works concept-wise. The second point, is this person potentially Asta's relative or father? Being that they inherit the same type of ability, he may have inherited from him. Being that he's an orphan, we have no idea of his parentage and his ancestry. That's an interesting point to bear in mind. Number 3, the fact that they said it belonged to and he hasn't been shown himself can be a lot of different things. It could be a plot point for later on, or it could be that behind that sealed kind of that stone tablet, I guess, is either the clan or the leader of the Midnight Eye, so to speak. And basically, I think that potentially with them collecting all the artifacts, you know, Figurion's symbol is, I don't know why they're taking his arm, that was just weird, but I thought that he might have used that for something, maybe something to do with highborn DNA potentially, but we don't know. But we also know that Lick potentially is the key because he has a seal on him. Maybe it requires a vast amount of energy to release and kind of, you know, life for life, because he's got a really big amount of energy that's stored inside him. Maybe that will kind of be sacrificed for the resurrection in the future. These are all speculation, these are all thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. As always, if you've liked and enjoyed what I've done, please give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section below. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. I do give you regular videos and updates and reviews. I try not to miss any, and even if I do, I tend to come back with them, and I tend to be quite regular with this. So to enjoy these in the future, to get regular updates, please subscribe. An additional point is I am looking to kind of post on Reddit. Unfortunately, with a lot of spam, you know, you get the spam notifications. You can't spam, you can't do this, you'll get banned. At some point in the near future, I will be setting up my own Reddit page. I will leave the links in the description when that happens. But in the meantime, I will post it on Reddit where possible. So apologies about those that miss it. I've also got a Twitter at Saj 2K16. For those that want to get involved in the conversation and tweet me, by all means, get me on Twitter. And peace, I guess. Have a nice day.